Great to see you, Dusters. Great to see you, Buttercups. Great to see everyone here in the basement for the live stream. Those of us who are invested in UFD like to refer to this as Duster Club, but we have big news to talk about today. Things to talk about regarding UFD. Big news around Solana, and even bigger news from the general economy. Things are great out there. Have you heard how wonderful it is? Yes, you too can get a second or third job and live the American dream. We're going to get to all that. But first, thank you for being here. Please retweet this right now. That'll get the word out to more and more people. As a matter of fact, as I'm talking to you live, I need to practice what I preach, right? That's part of the deal. I'm going to go out here and retweet it myself. Let's hold on for just 1 second, and then we're going to go. Here, I'll say, quote, I am live now. Okay, you guys, please do the same. So what's going on with UFD? Thank you. By the way, horns up, Dusters. It's July 3rd, almost the July 4th holiday here in St. Louis, right? Our horns are going to be shining like the brightest of fireworks. We have a lot to be grateful for. Take a step back and think about what we are doing. Do you feel it? Do you realize, right, that we're in this situation right now where we're like the most, what a lot of people say, undervalued crypto in the world, right? We have a community that is world class, right? And when we compare what we're doing to other larger meme coins, other cryptocurrencies, it really is astounding the opportunity that we have ahead of us. Now, there's no guarantees. And please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any financial decisions, relationship decisions, food decisions, any kind of decisions based on what I say. But in full disclosure, Susie and I, yes, that, you guys want to watch me turn Susie on? Here we go. She's live. I bet she's got a big smile on her face right now. Okay. But Susie and I do own a lot of unicorns. So we're with us. We're together. And that's what this is all about. Together. UFD is together. UFD is a unique opportunity like it's never existed in the world before. We do have digital scarcity. And on top of that, as you well know, right, not only do we have digital scarcity, are you unique, our community unique, but we're snuck that one in on you. 99 million beans. They will never make any more beans. But if you notice something interesting, big reasons to be optimistic, and I'm going to share them with you right now with UFD. If you noticed here, we got 3 things that I think can tell us about what is going on with our beautiful UFD right now. Crypto chief, and then there's more. Okay, trust me. UFD is one of the best meme coin communities across all the chains. At under 25 million market cap. On Solana, you have 7 big memes over 500 million. 7 around 150 to 250 million. Then not many standout communities. UFD is definitely, at least right now, should be 150 million meme. This is the easiest narrative to sell. Surprised KOLs not taking advantage. Well, we're going to look at that here in a second. But remember this, right? This was from Murad in one of his recent videos, and he accidentally snuck us in there. Most active community of the cycle. Okay, now he's, of course, talking about SPX 6900, which we love them. We love that community, no doubt about it. He says we are seeing early signs of SPX 6900 achieving XRP ADA levels of social media dominance. The most important lesson in crypto. The most cult, and we're going to change cult, C-O-L-T, like communities when. SPX 6900 community is already as inspired and active as giant multi-cycle coins. But look, guys, let's do this in green, right? Because that's our favorite color, right? Look, right here. Who's this? Huh? UFD. We're up there. We're in there, okay? It's undeniable. When it comes to social dominance, and again, that's the most important lesson of crypto. He says it himself. All right, let's go to the next one. What else you got for us here? Oh, there we are, right? Those are the biggest. These are the massive meme coins, Doge, Pepe, Sheeb, Trump. There we are on the same screen. And again, those coins have market caps that are 20, 50. I think what's Doge, 1,000 times bigger than us? Really? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay. And again, there's our meme coin battle royale where we emerge the winner. Okay. Now let's move on to something also equally as interesting. And we're going to come back to this because if you notice, I want to ask you a question. Have you noticed that we're getting more and more people following us on X, and a lot of people that have between, let's say, 10 and 100, 10 and 75,000 followers? There's like a whole new group of dusters, right? Diamond hoof dusters that are not necessarily these accounts that have 1 million or 2 million followers, but I think more importantly, people that have 10, 20, 50, 70,000. I was having this discussion last night with our key community member, the boss, and she was like, yeah, absolutely. She's like, she brought it up. I'm like, I know, I'm seeing the same thing. Here's one example, just one example of somebody new. Uh-oh, hold on. Yes, sweetie. Your audio. Do what? Audio, you sound like you're in a tin can. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, guys, I think we're having some audio issues. Hold on. Here, let's go back. Because I know there's nothing like watching me struggle live on a live stream. We go to audio, not virtual background, audio. Yep, there's a problem. Thank you, Susie. Uh-oh. Hold on here, guys. Having some kind of audio issue here. Oh, wait a minute. Did that fix it? No. Yeti. Okay, the audio should be better, but it looks like we've got a loose wire. Another loose wire on top of the one inside my head. Let's go out and take a look at this. This is a new follower. A new member. Okay. Thank you, Susie. I appreciate that. This is the brown girl, that brown girl. UFD will go wild and parabolic. And look, just a great example. She has 22,000 followers, and we're getting a whole slew of new people. Sorry, guys, allergies are acting up in that range that are following us. And of course, right? Oh, I said thank you. Let's see who else. Anybody else? Well, I'm sure, man, everything is kind of going off the, even X is acting funny this morning, but that's okay. Let's go talk about the next thing. Our other friend, Homelander, super bullish on meme coins. Okay, here we go. Right? UFD. Who's Homelander? Okay, 1,500 followers. He's replying to that brown girl. So what we're seeing is more and more of these influencers starting to join us. Guys, here's the latest from our friend, the Gym Hunter. That's another one with 147,000 followers. Who runs the strongest? This is the contest. Dusters, time for us to sharpen our horns. Okay, it's going to go for 4 days. Who runs the strongest squad in crypto? UFD, Hold, Volt, or Mask? Let's get out there and vote, because right now, and we've got time, we are in a relatively close second place. So let's keep that up. Let's move on to Solana. Big news out of Solana. Solana ETFs are here. This is an article from Coinbase. Now, look, the reason why we want to pay attention to Solana, I always want to say salami, Solana, right, is because that's our native token. We are based off the Solana ecosystem, and we've got big things. ETFs are being formed. ETFs are being issued for Solana. What that will do is bring new people into the crypto world, into the Solana ecosystem. Okay, people, when they can buy a Solana ETF on Fidelity or Vanguard or Charles Schwab, one of those big platforms, people that don't have crypto wallets, people that are afraid of crypto, right? It will get their money into Solana, and that will benefit UFD, because we are based on Solana. And I'm a big believer in Solana, right? My instincts tell me Solana is going places. So we've got a couple stories we're going to look at here. regarding what's happening with the Solana ETF. Coinbase tells us Solana fund launch kicks off crypto ETF summer. Let's go down here. Okay, Solana ETF with staking began trading yesterday. Last year, the arrival of spot Bitcoin ETFs, which allow traders to gain exposure to Bitcoin via conventional stock markets, arrived and helped kickstart crypto's current bull run. On Wednesday, a new type of crypto ETF built around Solana opened for trading. According to Rex Shares and Osprey Funds, the Rex Osprey Solana Plus staking ETF is the first ever staked crypto ETF in the United States. So not only is it a Solana-based ETF, but it also has staking, meaning that 50% of the Solana it holds will be staked and earning rewards. Staking is part of the proof of stake mechanism that Solana, Ethereum, and some other cryptos use to process transactions, secure their networks, and issue new tokens. Solana prices spiked up from around 150 to 160 on Monday on this news before dipping on Tuesday. Now, let's go out to Decrypt. We love Decrypt. They've had me on their show a couple times. What a great media organization. Solana staking ETF bags $12 million in Wall Street debut. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this because that was a little lower than was expected. The SEC is expected to approve several Solana-focused ETFs this year, but the Rex Osprey Solana Plus staking ETF is the first in the United States. Remember that, it's the first, and we've already read all that, so we're going to skip over it. This here, the ETF, which also offers investors yield by staking at least half of the fund's assets, another first for U.S. markets, registered 33 million trading volume. The ETF's day one trading volume was 82% less than what one would have expected based on the Solana Bitcoin market cap. So they're saying, oh, it didn't trade as much as we thought, or there wasn't as much inflow. But they're basing that, number one, Solana is new to a lot of people and growing, and they're basing that comparing the total market cap of Solana to Bitcoin. So I'm not concerned about this. Bitwise senior investment strategist Juan Leon told Decrypt, this lack of appetite shows institutional investors are still very early in their understanding of Solana. And I agree with that 100%, right? Like, I think everybody on the institutional side has heard of Bitcoin at this point, but Solana definitely has a big foothold in the crypto world, but a lot of room for growth and a lot of room for people to start to understand Solana and exactly what it can do. I think this is going to be huge. I believe Solana is going to be huge, and I also believe that our friend, right? Not just you, not just me, but our friend Unicorn Fart Dust is going to be huge as well. So did you hear? Big market moving news this morning. The jobs number came out. Let's dive into that and what that means. And then we're going to talk about what Trump is saying now and doing and how that can affect monetary policy here in the United States and ultimately affect crypto and Unicorn Fart Dust. But we get this yesterday. The news was this on the jobs. We're talking about the general economy, the general markets here, guys. Yesterday, ADP, and you probably know this, but ADP is the world's biggest payroll processor. You know, everybody and their brother here in the United States does their time card and gets paid by ADP. And they put out their monthly numbers before the government does, and it was a huge miss, okay? They actually said that 33,000 jobs were lost versus 98,000 that were expected to be created. So you're talking about like 130,000 jobs less and a net 33K jobs lost. Okay, it was the first negative print since March of 2023. But then this morning, oh my gosh, lo and behold, hold on here. Lo and behold, our government never ever ceases to amaze us. We got an unbelievable jobs number out of our government, out of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Now, I would never call it this, but some people, from what I'm told on Wall Street, refer to it as the Bureau of Lies and Statistics. And take a look at these numbers that they're feeding us this morning from the BLS blowout June payroll numbers. 147,000 jobs added, smashing expectations. And the unemployment rate drops to 4.1%. So isn't it great out there? Let's come back to this. Isn't it a wonderful economy that we live in here in the United States where, hey, a lot of people have to have second and third jobs just to make ends meet, just to pay their rent, just to put food on the table? Susie went to the grocery store the other day, went to 2 grocery stores, Aldi and Sam's Club, and got a lot of food, right? But not like a crazy amount of food. And that night she's like, I spent $450. I'm like, wow, it is insane, right? So we're living in this economy where people not only work a full-time job, but then do side gigs, side hustles, and hey, much respect, right? But then when these numbers are put out by our government telling us how great the job situation is, a lot of times they are factoring in these second and third jobs. And what it's not showing is that the average Americans are struggling. The financial system, as it's set up right now for average people, is very, very challenging. But nonetheless, I didn't mean to go off on a little rant there about what's going on in this country. Let's get back to the numbers. After yesterday's shockingly bad ADP print that we just looked at, guys, print of negative 33K, the market was braced for bad numbers today from the BLS. But the BLS published a blowout jobs report in June. The U.S. added 147,000 jobs, blowing away the median estimate of 106,000 jobs, and higher than the upward revised May print of 100. This was crazy. Okay, and I'll tell you why here in 1 second. Go down here. That's all just kind of data that we're not really interested in. Remarkably, and in a dramatic change from the Biden tradition, the previous months were actually revised higher. April was revised up by 11,000 jobs, and May was revised up by 5,000 jobs. So typically, what had been happening for years was they would put these numbers out and then they would revise previous month numbers down. Not only, this is insane. I'll give you, I have a theory why this is happening, but and I need to recognize, because the previous days I said they're going to put out the jobs number and then they're going to revise down the previous 2 months. And I think it's a shell game. Well, this month that did not happen. I was wrong. Okay. The number was a blowout, number one. And number two, they actually revised the previous 2 months upward. But my question is the economy really that great? Is it really, is this real? Now, my theory on why this is happening is because, guys, there is a major feud going on in Washington between our current president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. And this is not a political show, so I'm not making a political statement, but there's a big feud between Trump and Jerome Powell. This guy, where is he? Maybe we need to get a Trump in the box. This is called the Powell in a box, right? So Trump and Powell, right, who runs our monetary system here in the United States, monetary policy. He is cute. I don't know what it is about him. I always think he's kind of a cute little guy, but he's a money printer. And I think, back to the point why this print was so good, these numbers that they put out are a bunch of bunk. As an example, I don't know, it was like last year they went back and revised the entire previous year's numbers, and they were like, oh, we overstated job creation over the last year by like 800,000 jobs. I used to say oh, well, all these make-believe jobs are people cashing make-believe paychecks. I digress. The reason why I think possibly, okay, speculation, but I personally think it's more than speculation, is that because of this feud going on between Trump and Powell, the good jobs print, that makes it harder for Powell to cut interest rates. And Trump is pushing so hard to cut interest rates. And let's go look at what happened now on expectations for interest rate cuts, because yesterday we talked about the fact that there was a 95% chance that in September we would get interest rate cuts. Let's go see how that changed because of this data that came out this morning. So we're going to go out here to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME Group FedWatch tool. You can look at the top of the page here. It's called CME Group FedWatch. tells us our next Fed meeting's in 27 days. There was basically no chance of a Fed rate cut at that point. But what we're looking at here, sorry, guys, get that back down there for us. Here we go. What we're looking at here, it might be hard for you to see, are the September numbers. Hold on. Oh, why is that not working? There we go. Okay, here we are. September, right there. Okay. This is the current rate, 4.25 to 4.5. Yesterday, this box here represents the same rate. Rate's not changing. Again, this is for September 17th meeting. And yesterday, we had only a 5% chance that rates would remain the same. Now we have a 25% chance that rates will remain the same. So what has happened because of this payroll print is that the odds of a rate cut have gone down. And there's this massive, massive feud going on right now in Washington. Let's go take a look at this. Okay. Breaking overnight. Trump says Fed Powell's should resign immediately. Let's read this. This is not just him, right? There's 3 people now that are attacking Powell. Trump said Powell should resign immediately in a True Social post Wednesday, increasing White House pressure campaign on the Fed chairman that is intensifying this week. Trump started the week with public criticism of the Fed and Powell for not lowering rates, posting a note he sent to Powell telling the Fed chair, Jerome, you are, as usual, too late, in arguing that this is unprecedented behavior between a president and the Federal Reserve, in arguing that he has, quote, cost the USA a fortune. His press secretary held up the note at the White House on Monday so reporters could see it. But wait, there's more. His Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, then in a separate TV interview compared the Fed to an old person who is afraid of falling after having stumbled once, referring to concerns Powell and other Fed officials have voiced about inflation from Trump's tariffs. Said, I guess this tariff derangement syndrome appears even over at the Fed, happens even over at the Fed. So that's Trump, that's the Treasury Secretary. And then we get the head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, Bill Pulte, says this. He says, I'm asking Congress to investigate Chairman Jerome Powell, his political bias, and his deceptive Senate testimony, which is enough to be removed for cause. He said that on a post on X yesterday. So, guys, everywhere we look, I mean, this is crazy what is going on in Washington right now. Crazy what is going on in our economy. And then we get this. Then we hear about the U.S. dollar. Touch on this one more time. From NBC News, the dollar's fallen at its fastest clip since 1973. Here's what that means. Some global investors, excuse me, horrible allergies here in South. Give me 1 second. Some global investors no longer expect, and I'm sharing the wrong screen. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not sharing any screen. Now we're on. There we go. The U.S. dollar's fallen, fastest clip. Some global investors no longer expect the U.S. economy to outperform the rest of the world. And why? That's what we want to hear. Trump wants the U.S. to increase its exports. Thanks to a historic decline in the value of the U.S. dollar, he may get his wish, but at a cost he may not have anticipated. Over the past 6 months, the dollar has declined more than 10% compared to a basket of currencies from U.S. major trading partners, something it has not done since 1973. Today, it sits at a 3-year low. The simplest explanation, here's the reasons why for the decline, is that global investors now expect the U.S. economy to no longer outperform the rest of the world as a result of Trump's tariffs, okay, and worsening fiscal issues. Guys, the hens have come home to roost. That's the reality of what's going on right now. You know, if you rack up too much debt, I'll ask you this question. If you racked up too much debt, if you had student loan debt, car debt, house debt, credit card debt. Did I say that already? Buy now, pay later debt. Debt at the local bar. I don't know, debt with your local chicken farmer for you know what I'm saying? At some point when you rack up too much debt, it becomes unmanageable. And that's where we are right now with the US. The rest of the world is starting to get very concerned about our ability to pay back our debt. Not so much that we won't pay it back, but that what will the value of the dollars be when it does get paid back? Because when a country that has the privilege like we have of being able to print our own money, remember, right? Unicorn fart dust, we're finite. There's only 999 million beans. The US dollar can be printed into infinity, right? They could double the number of dollars. They could just print dollars. The Fed could print $37 trillion today and say, we just paid off the national debt. Here you go. Here's your money back. But those dollars, when you increase the supply, right, it dilutes. It makes it less powerful. It'd be like if this was a bottle of Jim Beam whiskey, okay, and we dumped it into a big pitcher, right? We dumped it into that big jug. These are beans, but we dump that bottle of whiskey into that jug, and then we fill up the bottle again with water and also dump it in the jug and say, hey, look, we got a jug of whiskey. You're like, well, not really. We don't have twice as much whiskey because you've diluted it, right? Well, you could do same example with lemonade or anything else. So that's the situation we're in right now. Okay. The takeaway from all that is going to be that assets that are outside of the fiat-based system, right? And that can include gold and silver. That can include land. That can include cryptocurrency. We went through this during the 1970s in this country. There was no cryptocurrency at that point. Gold and silver absolutely skyrocketed. I call silver in particular the original form of cryptocurrency. Now we also have cryptocurrency. I think gold and silver will continue. They've already done very well, right? I think they're the barometer for where crypto can go. Now, in the modern digital age in which we live, trust me, I was alive in the 1970s. We didn't have any of this stuff, okay? High tech back then was literally one of these, a walkie-talkie, and they were like huge. Anyway, now we have crypto, and of course, right? Like my only crypto I own is Unicorn Fart Dust. It can do very, very well in this environment. Now, on top of that, with UFD, we've got a secret weapon, and that's you and me in a community, right? And we also have another secret weapon, right? Digital scarcity. Only one UFD community, and only so many UFD beans are available, period. And we have the beautiful advantage of this ethos, of this framework that the founding fathers of crypto established for us, things like transparency, right? Decentralized finance, democratization, everything. It's a very, very special, unique situation. Now, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict what's going to happen, but I do know one thing. The fact that our community shows up every single day, proving itself and growing in quality, absolutely growing in quality, evolving, right, and bringing in more and more good quality people, I'm optimistic, right? You need to make that decision for yourself. And the other thing I'll say is please, friends, please, no matter what you do, right, in life in general, but with your finances as well, always be responsible. Don't take on too much risk. Don't put yourself in a situation where you could be harmed or harm the ability of to provide for your family, yourself, anything like that. Take care of yourself. You're important, okay? Let's keep up the good work. This is a special situation. This is a unicorn, right? This is not going to happen again. It only happens one time. I mean, it's a miracle with Web3 and what we're getting to do together. This is our opportunity to define our own destiny. And it happens, right? Not magically, right? It happens. The magic happens each and every day, each time that we decide to do something to help solidify this bond that we have together as a community, right? whether it's me doing live streams, DJ Litmus doing DJ shows, you making a post, you know, telling somebody about UFD, telling somebody about crypto. That's where this magic happens. Now remember, okay, we're in the Solana network, and Solana is going places. I think that, I mean, if you think about the potential for tailwinds as we move forward, right? What's going on with Solana, what you are making happen in this community, you can control what happens with UFD. It's way bigger than me. Sorry, right? And remember, this thing was started with nothing. To think that incredible things aren't possible is a big mistake, right? Because this was started with nothing, with $100. I spawned it over there, and I didn't even believe in crypto. I said it was all a bunch of unicorn fart dust. And look at what you've been able to accomplish in 6 months. Only 6 months. Okay, dusters, diamond hoof dusters, horns up. What am I forgetting? Oh, I forgot all the good stuff. I didn't even say good attracts good, because it is. It's a big deal what you've accomplished. It's a big deal what we will continue to accomplish. Keep up the good work. Have a great day. For those of you in the United States, happy 4th of July Eve. Let's go UFD. I'll see you soon.